drive across town. After all, what's the harm? The answer to that hits you in a flash. Live power lines brought down by falling branches are sparking all around you, and you're sitting in a car made of metal. So do you think you know what to do? Would you A, open the door and make a run for it as soon as possible? B, stay put and hunker down inside your car? Or C, climb through the window and onto the roof to signal for help? The right answer may shock you, but not as much as the wrong ones.
Generally speaking, when wind gets up to about 58 miles per hour, it's enough wind to start knocking down trees or tree limbs, power lines, and that's why a severe thunderstorm warning is issued when winds are expected to be at that speed.
Another common cause? Accidents.
There's an urban myth out there that tires are a good insulator for a car. If there's a power line on your car, oh, don't worry, you got rubber tires. Well, tires have steel belts in them. Tires aren't rated for any type of insulation.
Vehicle tires are conductors, not insulators. Electric shock can cause serious damage to the human body, from external burns to internal muscle, nerve, and tissue destruction. Electric currents can also interrupt the heart, causing cardiac arrest. So there you are, inside your vehicle, living an electric nightmare. Do you think you could survive live power lines around your car? Your best bet? B, stay in your ride.
If you're in a car and you're touching down power lines, you want to stay in that vehicle until those power lines have been safely secured.
You're going to be safer in an enclosed area than you are trying to get out of the vehicle, touching metal, and potentially getting electrocuted.
Even if wires are not sparking, they could still be energized. Do not trust any wires to be dead. Wait until the utility service arrives and tells you that it is safe and that the wires have been de-energized. So getting out is a big no, but there's one critical exception.
So if you're in a situation where there is an immediate life hazard, such as the car's on fire, what you want to think about is getting as much distance as you can between you and those wires.
If you do have to open the door very carefully. Try not to touch any metal. What you want to do is put both feet together and stand on the sill of your door and hop out of the vehicle, landing on both feet.
Once you land, don't lift your feet off the ground. Instead, shuffle away in small increments. That's because the ground could be charged, and if you lift your foot, you might create a dangerous arc between you and the road. Step potential is electricity flowing along the ground from a source such as downed power lines. If a person walks into an electrical field, their body becomes a conductor and can cause serious injury or death.
Continue to shuffle your feet together, staying in contact with the ground until you're probably at least 50 feet away.
Fallen power lines are extremely dangerous. If you don't want to get what could be a deadly electric shock, stay in your car. If your life depends on it, exit the vehicle by hopping out, then shuffling away. Never let your body touch the car and the ground at the same time. Play it smart, and with luck, you'll survive this electrifying encounter. In some places, there's a thread just below the surface. The ground opens up, swallowing roads, trees, and homes. Sinkholes are unpredictable and dangerous. If you were driving and your car were to suddenly drop into a sinkhole, would you know what to do to survive? Would you A, stay in your car and honk the horn to draw attention to yourself? B, sit very still so as not to disturb the crumbling sinkhole? Or C, leave your car and climb out of the hole as fast as you can? Choose carefully. You're up against a perilous trap.
A sinkhole is a depression depression or a cavity that opens up in the ground. They happen slowly, so whether you see it or not, you could have a 40-foot void under you. And it's rainwater really that's just going through those soils, it's eroding them, it's causing a cavern underneath, just slowly just getting bigger. You might not have any warning signs, but then you get just a little bit more rainwater, and that just causes the whole thing to collapse. So a sinkhole will open up, it'll swallow a house, a car, basically anything that's standing in its way.
And sinkholes can form underwater too. Here, a stand of trees vanishes into the Louisiana bayou. Scientists estimate that 20% of the U.S. is susceptible to sinkholes. But there's one state that's become notorious for them, Florida. Between 2006 and 2010, Florida residents filed an average of nearly 17 sinkhole insurance claims per day, resulting in $1.4 billion in damages.
Florida has so many sinkholes because it has a very unique geology. The bedrock that underlies Florida is limestone, buried by very thick sequences of sand and clay. Those limestones 20, 30 million years old, so it's had a long time to sit there and dissolve and create quite large cavities. Wow.
In 2010, a colossal 300-foot wide sinkhole in Guatemala swallowed a 3-story factory, taking the lives of 15 people.
The sinkhole in Guatemala was so big that it just was all blocks of buildings, neighborhoods, and it was due to the poor corroded sewage system that was underneath the ground. And what happened was people felt shaking and they actually thought it was an earthquake, but it was the sinkhole opening up. Oh my God!
So what would you do if you were driving and your car was swallowed by a sinkhole? Time to decide. The best option? C. Get out of your car, but do it carefully.
If you are driving and your car gets swallowed by a sinkhole, the best thing to do is get out as soon as you can. If you're able to leave that vehicle, you want to, because the sinkhole may still be forming and swallow your car further. You may not be able to get out your car door. You may have to climb out a window, climb out your trunk. But get out any way you can. If a sinkhole opens up, it could be a cause of a water break or a sewage break. There is going to be water at the bottom, so there's a good chance that that water will be contaminated. And you definitely don't want to be in contact with that water because you don't know what's in it.
As for the wrong answers, they become the right things to do if you can't climb out.
If you can't get out of your car, you want to hold still as much as you can because that sinkhole is still active and it probably is still moving. So you moving in the car is not going to help matters. If you're stuck, stay in the car, try to call 911. If you're not getting a signal, honk your horn, roll your windows up so that you can save as much oxygen as possible. You don't want to have any of the dirt come in, water. You want to try to, keep as much of that out so that you can get rescued.
If you are driving and your car gets swallowed in a treacherous sinkhole, get out of your car and cautiously climb to safety. If you can't get out, call 911, roll up your windows, and honk your horn. Follow these tips, and if you're lucky, you won't end up 6 feet under.
Wow. That's the craziest.